The promotion of the homosexual agenda isn't just about a particular form of sexual behavior. It's about establishing an understanding of human sexuality that divorces it from procreation, divorces it from the plan of creation as God intended it, divorces it from the family, and therefore represents the cutting edge for the destruction of family life and faith-based family life in our society.
My son Jeffrey was a 10-year-old little boy with a heart of gold. He loved to ride his bicycle, play baseball, ice skate, play hockey. Just his eyes would make you smile.
Jeffrey Curley was a wonderful 10-year-old boy who was abducted from his neighborhood in Cambridge, Mass. He was taken for a drive by two pedophiles who asked him to engage in perverse sexual acts. When he refused, they smothered him with a gas-soaked rag until he was dead. They took him to an apartment where they molested his dead body. Ultimately, they put him in a Tupperware tub, wrapped the tub with duct tape, and threw him in the river. One
of the people that kidnapped my son Jeffrey and had sex with his dead body was from an organization called NAMBLA. They have an organization that trains these people how to lure children and how to get away with it.
The ACLU has appeared for the North American Man-Boy Love Association on the theory that this case involves speech protected by the First Amendment. This case does not involve speech protected by the First Amendment. We have a manual authored by NAMBLA members which shows how they counsel, aid, and abet the sexual exploitation of children by pedophiles.
The Thomas More Law Center was an answer to me and my family's prayers. They've helped us financially, spiritually, and wholeheartedly.
Some of the fiercest battles in the cultural war are taking place in the public school system. And under the guise of separation between church and state, every effort is being made to eliminate Christianity, the Bible, school prayers from the public school system.
My Bible club started my freshman year, the second semester, and we had like 12 people, and it grew to between like 40 to 80 kids for 3.5 years. It was just doing awesome. And that my junior year, my principal came up and said it was separation of church and state. So he ended up canceling the Christian club, and we had to fight to get it back.
Across our nation, students in public school system are being discriminated against because of their Christian religion. They're told they cannot pray in classrooms. They're told they cannot bring their Bibles. They're told that they can no longer display the 10 Commandments on school walls. They're told that nativity scenes celebrating Christmas can no longer be displayed. Graduation prayers are no longer allowed.
We contacted the Thomas More Law Center, and they helped us out at no cost to us, and the Bible Club was allowed to meet in our school. People called us and said that they weren't allowed to have Bible clubs in their schools either, and they were allowed to in the end, and it really helped clubs all over the state get established.
No one has the right to do something that's wrong. For abortion, for example, if we just look at the pictures, or we just listen to the abortionists, they themselves admit that it's the killing of a human being. If abortion isn't wrong, nothing is wrong. Euthanasia, likewise, takes an innocent life. And if that's not wrong, then it is right to take the life of anyone who's burdensome or inconvenient.
I'm a registered nurse, and I'm a sidewalk counselor, and what that means is I go and pray and offer help to women that are seeking abortions in front of the abortion clinic.
Peaceful pro-life demonstrators are threatened all across this country, and they're being threatened by local law enforcement and federal law enforcement who are often working with the local Planned Parenthood and the abortion facilities, and we're there to protect the rights of these peaceful pro-life demonstrators who oftentimes have nobody to turn to but us.
In carrying my signs, I've had to face several trials, including being threatened with arrest and being sued.
In the Norton case, Michigan law enforcement were attempting to silence the speech of our client, who was merely on a public sidewalk holding a sign displaying an aborted child. Now, the way the Michigan law enforcement tried to silence her speech was by using an arcane Michigan law, which, among other things, it prohibited the public display of depictions of murder. So, in fact, what we have is the Michigan law enforcement saying that the picture of an aborted child is, in fact, murder. But we successfully enjoined this statute, and now our client is out there with her sign saving children.
When I was the director of the largest abortion clinic in the world, we had demonstrators outside of our doors virtually daily. And although one would think that you would get used to that, the doctors who were doing the abortions never did.
When I was age 20, I was pregnant again for the second time. Went to Planned Parenthood looking for information, looking for help, and almost convinced me that this was the better way to go, and had the abortion and have regretted it ever since.
Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry does not make full and fair disclosure to women about the health risk associated with induced abortion. I think the reason is obvious. They're more concerned with profits than women's health.
Years later, I found a lump in my breast that I had to have removed. And when I found out that there was information out there about that Planned Parenthood knew about, that said that there was a link between having an abortion and breast cancer, then I was outraged.
Women are deeply disturbed when they learn that 40 years of medical research and 28 studies demonstrate that induced abortion causes increased risk of breast cancer. Women have a right to that information.
I think holding back information is horrid, and it's hurtful, and it's wrong. I know if one person would have told me the truth, that I would have 3 children instead of 2.
Edmund Burke's words ring true this day when he said, "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing." So now is the time we must act, as the scales of justice are severely tipped in the wrong direction.
So it is vitally important that Thomas More Law Center is out there with competent people representing our values, because once we do our job, it then goes to the courts, and in many cases, it gets undone.
The Thomas More Law Center, in its efforts to disseminate accurate information to the general public on the issue of life, is again irreplaceable.
I think it's important to support the work of Thomas More Law Center, because if we don't have lawyers who are shaped in the tradition of natural and divine law, then we are not going to be able to see that tradition effectively applied in our courts and on our benches in the course of the future.
We live in an increasingly secular society. One of the very strongest voices for us to be able to express our beliefs is, in fact, the Thomas More Law Center.
I don't know what we ever did without them, and I'm so grateful to God that the Thomas More Law Center exists for our benefit.
Christians need warriors in the courts where the cultural war is being fought, and the Thomas More Law Center is a crucial element on a crucial front of that cultural war.
In a spirit of prayer, consider what it is that you must do, so that one day all human life is held sacred. The traditional family is nurtured and cherished. The religious freedom of Christians is once again enshrined. And throughout America, the name of God is revered. We do this not for ourselves, not even for our country, but so that one day God may say to us, "Well done."